everybody, it is Brenda and I'm your Creative Memories Advisor, and I wanted to stop in today and just show you how I go about recreating a simple page kit. We all love simple page kits, right? They are so fun to use and so fun to have in our stash, and I just want to put one together using cut pieces of my kit versus putting it together just exactly the way it says. And why do I do this? Just because I like to. Absolutely, I just like to. And so I took some things out. I took some inks out, and I have my Bats and Stars Border Maker cartridge, which I love. And I've got the Noteworthy Simple Page Kit tin for Halloween. And I got my kit in the bundle for fourth quarter. And so I get these little exclusive embellishments too, which I'm really excited to use. I brought out some flowers because there can never be enough flowers. And, oh, by the way, I sort my flowers in the 3x3 sort and stash pockets. I put all the different colors in, and then I have the leaves down the side so I can easily see what I'm going to use. That's just a little side note. And then the gems that come in the flowers, I chose purple and orange. And then I'm going to use this fabulous sketch that one of my team members designed, Kimberly S. She's on the Creative Memories design team. And she created this sketch for the September virtual crop group. And I want to use that sketch today. So let's get started. I've got some plum paper here, some pumpkin, some black, some white. We've got it all. We're going to do just fine. I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to pull out this Noteworthy Simple Page Kits along with my cutting mats so that my pieces are straight. The cutting mats aren't just for cutting circles. They're for also building your layouts and making sure that you have straight lines on your layouts. And I love having those on my pages. So, oh, and the inks that I chose are the Lilac Posies that we got in our fall inks, and also the Potter's Clay. So I have the two matching brushes, and then I just had a black, and I wanted black in order to have a black edge. We're going to work with some edges on this kit. So let's get started. What exactly do I do when I reimagine a page? Because I reimagine all of them. Because I like to build it as is, and then I like to take it apart and use every speck that I can. So we've got these instructions in here, and I'm just going to set those aside. I'm not going to need those. But I actually punch these and keep them in one of my creative inspiration motivation binders so that I have these sketches. Of course I'd want to do that. I'd want to have all the sketches. So we're going to set that aside. And then we have our sticker sheet. And so cute. I love when purple is included in Halloween. It just makes such a difference on the Halloween page. So we've got the two base sheets, right? And it would be very simple, 10 minutes actually, to put this together if we were doing it exactly the way. And then we've got this cut apart sheet. Look at the designs on this sheet. I just want to be able to play with them. So we've got this, but if we flip this over, look at what we have. We have a whole pattern on the back of the pages. I don't know if you've ever noticed that about your simple page kits, but we do, and so I want to be able to use that. But first, I'm going to start with this background here. It's a 10 by 9 piece on both pages, And so I'm going to look and see which color I like best with this, because I'm going to use that for the inside piece. I really like this plum. I don't know about you, but I have just fallen in love with this color. So I think I'm going to cut 2 of those. I'm going to set these aside, and you'll see what I'll do in just a couple minutes. Let's get this cut first. So we need these to be 10 inches by 9 inches. So I'm going to unwrap. Did you get one of these cute straps? I love scrapbooking. They hold your cutters together beautifully. So leave me a message in the notes, in the comments, if you want one, because I still have a few. And we're going to go ahead and cut this 10 inches by 9 inches. So I'm going to bring my arm out and cut it 10 inches. I hope your weather is nice where you are. It is beautifully sunny here today in Minnesota. It's October 9th, and I love when we have nice sunny fall days like this, but it's windy. And so it's a little bit chilly. It's starting to feel like fall. And yesterday I had some flowers freeze, so it's that time. Look at that. I've got that taken care of, and I cut 2 pieces at once, so I have both 10 by 9 pieces. Okay? Now, on the inside of this sketch, we have 9 by 8. So I'm going to grab this paper. Oh, I'm just so excited to use this, and make this 9 by 8. Okay? I don't know that I'll be so particular about worrying about what's on the back for this or what I have left over. Maybe some of this blue, some of this might be nice. However, I just really want that design on the back this time. I don't pick that for all of my reimagined simple page kits, but I do pick it for some of them. And I still have this piece right here. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, 9 by 8. So we're taking 4 inches off this 12-inch piece. And look at that. Now we've got our 9 by 8 piece. Okay. Oh, and I think we have to go this way on our background so that our 4 by 6 photos fit. And remember, we're using a simple page kit and a few pieces of cardstock. Now I think I'm going to take some black, because there's black dots in here, and I really love using black for this. So we're going to take some black, and we're going to cut, I'll need 2 pieces because we're cutting 4 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 mats, so that we can fit a 6 by 4 photo. Okay, so bring our trimmer back, swing the arm out, and let's get to that 6 1/4 inch mark. And I'm cutting 2 pieces at once. I'm going to put this whole piece with the 2 aside. I really like leaving the integrity of a 12-inch piece with as much as I can. That's helpful for further layouts. And then when I cut this into 2 4 1/4 inch pieces, I'm going to have what I need for the layout. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Now I'm going to have to save the picture spots for this for Halloween this year. We're long past needing to have children's layouts. My son is 36, but we have the dog, the grand dog. And so I always dress him up when he's with us on Halloween, and that's usually what I fill my Halloween pages with. So let's grab 2 white bases. Oh, how I love white bases. Are you getting used to them yet with me? I hope so. I really love using them. I'm going to splatter some ink here and there and everywhere. I'm going to grab an empty embellishment bag. I keep that just for inking like this. And I'm going to grab some of this black Memento dewdrops and water and my number 1 paintbrush. It is a number 1. Let's see, that one's the 0. That one's a little smaller. Let's see if I can find my number 1. If you saw how many paintbrushes I have, here we go. It's number 1 and it's a liner. And I'm being particular about showing you this specific one because I want you to have the right kind of splatter. And this really works well. So I'm going to take this black ink and go ahead and just pop some. I only do 2 ink splats at a time because I really just don't want to waste any more ink than I have to. We're locked. And I'm not going to spritz it much because I want this to be as rich and as black, look at that nice black ink, as possible. Then I'm going to take my finger and just tap that paintbrush with my finger and put it all over the bottom right corner. Okay? And now I'm going to flip my paper so that I have an empty bottom right corner. And I'm going to splatter there as well. And look at those nice splatters that you get. Doesn't matter where they go on the page. They're splatters and it's a Halloween page. It's all good. Now I'm going to take my other page and I'm going to put splatters here and here. So let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to do the bottom right again because that's going to go just where we want it to go when we turn it. And we're going to splatter some more. Oh, I love those black splatters. And then we'll turn it around and do the opposite corner again, picking up as much ink as possible without re-wetting, because that re-wetting is what makes our ink splatters dull out, okay? So I see I'm a little bit light on the corners here. I'm not worried about this ink splattering on my mats. I'll show you all about that in a second. So I'm going to set that aside while I clean this up and show you how easy it is. So I wipe off my brush as much as I can, and then I'm going to spray just some regular water and just clean my brush in that water. And this then will just get, look at that, it's clean already. So I can just take my brush and stand it upright in my holder, and then all I have to do is fold this over and throw it away. And then with that little bit of splatter that's on here, I can take a paper towel or anything that I have handy. I've got a paper towel here, and just wipe that off so that it's not going to get on the paper. And if it does get on the paper, it's going to be on the back. So I'm really not worried about it. All right, there we have our splatters. Look at that. Is that ever fun? Now, I'm going to show you something because you did it in opposite corners. Look at how you can have the splatters on the bottom outsides and the top middle, or you can turn the paper and have your splatters on the bottom middle and the top outsides. You decide. It's so easy to do it this way. I'm going to keep these off to the side a little bit to make sure that they're dry. And I'm going to grab that black ink again, and we're going to outline all of these pieces. I'm just going to edge the pieces with black ink. Now, I don't want an antique look to my paper, so I'm just going to go straight at a 90-degree angle. I think I've got two here. Yep, I do. And we're just going to go at a 90-degree angle. And one nice thing about Memento inks is that they dry fast, they're fade resistant, and they're acid free for your books. So you never have to worry. Now, I don't know necessarily that I'd have to do this black on black, but I think it adds just a little bit of depth on the page. And I also just really want to show you how easy it is to go back and forth. Now, when you go back and forth like this on your paper with your ink pad, you're going to save the integrity of your pad. When you take short strokes with your ink pad doing this, you might end up with some fray on your ink pad. That doesn't matter at all. Fray doesn't matter at all as far as your ink quantity, but it just leaves your ink pad in a really nice way. Our ink pads are so inexpensive that it is just best to buy a new ink pad if you feel like your pad is running dry. Okay, these will take a while to dry out. Now, when you're really going to see this is when I put this on the paper. Okay, we're gonna just swipe it back and forth, back and forth. So easy. And two more pieces. But I'm not going to let this go far because I may want to do some other things with this. With this ink pad. So I'm going to hang on to it and keep it close. And then I want to grab this purple. I am also using a challenge card from the Birthday Week Challenge Accepted deck. The Challenge Accepted challenge that I pulled is to use ink on your paper. Whether it is to edge like this, whether it's to splatter, or there's even something else fun that I'm going to do in just a little bit. So we've got all that paper edged. I'm going to put my splatters up at the top in the middle, okay? I want to use this bottom section as kind of a showcase for my clustered embellishments. I just wanted to check my video, and I'm glad that I did because I need to pull this up just a little bit more so that you can see it. Okay. Now, we're going to put this is a 10-inch piece, so I'm going to put this on the paper from 1 inch here and 1 inch here. Okay, and this is when you really see the edging on the paper and what we've done. Oh, it's only a month and these will be back in stock. I'm so excited for all of you that don't have them. And if you use both kinds of tape, the white tape like I'm using now, or the repositionable, which I'll also be using, then you'll want to get 2 runners right away so that you can have one for each. Now see, I like that little bit of splatter there, and I like this splatter right here because it's going to provide a nice backdrop for the cluster I'm going to build. Okay, Then we're going to put this right alongside. This is a 9-inch piece, so this will go 1.5 inches from the top. And I'm not using a ruler because I'm using the guide on the side of my cutting mat. I don't know what I'd do without my cutting mat. So basically what I've done with this simple page kit is just pick the patterns that I like and cut them up. I love it, but we have a lot more pattern to use. So we're gonna use it. All right. Now we'll get that piece that goes on the other side, the white piece. Make sure that my splatters are lined up there. So fun. And then we're going to get the purple and the splatter dots down on this sheet. Now, I really hope that when you do pages, you use good adhesive. And I'm not even trying to sell our adhesive. I'm just telling you that it's good adhesive. We don't ever want your books. When you open up your books, what a shame it would be if things fell off. Oh my goodness, that would be a shame. Now I didn't put that down hard because I want to see if this lines up, and it does exactly. You don't even have to use the grid if you don't want. You can keep the paper right next to it. And we'll put this right next to here. So we've got this on this side. I love mirrored patterns. I love them because there's so much you can do with them. Now, we have this down, and then we have photo mats. But if you notice in this sketch that there is a dovetailed piece on each side that goes across the bottom. So I'm going to grab this beautiful, beautiful paper. And now I have to make a decision because they're both so lovely. I'm going to make them 1 inch wide. And, oh, what do I want to use? I'm going to use with the black. And so I need 2 of them. I think I'm going to go 1 1/4 inches. That gives me a little more width on that. And 1 1/4 inches. And I use the outside of my trimmer to measure because we have the cutting line is right here. This line right here on the mat is 1/8 of an inch. The end of the gray on the cutting mat is 1/4. And then we have 1/2, 3/4, and 1, and so on. So you'll always know how to use your cutter. Oh, I'm glad I chose these. Now I'm going to go ahead and dovetail them right when they're together like this so that my dovetailed ends match. I'm going to pull out my new red scissors. Oh, I love this. This came out for Christmas on Monday, and I love it. I'm just going to go right up the middle using that point because these cut all the way to the point. And then I'm going to go from the side to the middle. And the same thing on this side. The side to the middle. And that's all we have to do to dovetail. It's the easiest process in the world, really. And then I want to cut these down to about 11. I think I'm going to go 11.5. So keeping them together like this, I'm just going to cut off 1/2 inch. And I'll use the right side of my trimmer again and cut off 1/2 inch. Now here's where I might want to pull out my ruler so that I have them even and straight. let's see where 2 inches is, because I always like to go up 2 inches if I can. But before I do that, let's see where these photo mats lie, because I also want it to be under the photo mat. Oh, I think that's going to be good. We're going to go a straight 2 inches. My ruler is 2 inches and it's grid all the way through this way and all the way through that way. And we're going to just straighten that out. And I'm going to get a little adhesive on the back of this. Okay. And put that down. Oh, wait, I put it down, but I didn't ink the edge. Good thing I didn't press it anywhere. I could just hold it up in the air. I'm just going to run some ink along the edge because I started that everywhere else. So I want to do that here too. I always wait until after I dovetail because you want that dovetail to have ink on it as well. So you want to be able to go right in there. And even with tape on the back, it's a pretty easy process to just ink it up like this. Okay. Now I can put that down. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but I would have noticed. And if it's something that you would have noticed, then do it. Take the time to do it. Now we'll go ahead on this page and do the same thing, 2 inches. And I'll remember to put the ink on before we get started. And I'm going to use flowers on this layout as kind of a backdrop behind some of the stickered embellishments. And chances are, the way that I've cut this, I'm going to have enough paper left to do a whole nother layout or a Halloween card for one of the kids. And let's go ahead and, oops, that moved. Let's hold the ruler in place and put that down. And there we go. So we have that nice, what looks like a night sky right on the back. And that really lends to this splattering that we did. And one of the reasons that I put it on the outside corners to make sure that I had something there. Now we're going to take a look at these photo mats and get these photo mats down. And there's not a whole lot of room in between there. So you can just, I'm going to just eyeball it. And it's probably going to be about 1/8 of an inch from each edge with 1/8 of an inch in the middle. The colors of Halloween. And I love when purple is one of them. Baby blue is in this paper too. That's what we had left over when we cut. So we're gonna line that up. I've got that one a little bit further, so I'm going to lift this up. So easy to do with my tool, and just pick it up and move it up just a little so that there's a smidgen in between and I get nearly 1/4 of an inch. Now I'll go ahead and put the mats down on the other side because this is a mirrored pattern. So we can go ahead and do that. And I'm lining it up. I've got my pages right next to each other. So I'm just lining it up with that one on the right page. And I didn't set that down very hard. That way I'll be able to pick it up if I need to adjust it a little bit. And go ahead and put this one down. All right, look at that. Now I'm going to cut some 4x6 pieces so that it looks a little more finished and you can kind of understand what this looks like with a photo mat on it. It always helps to see photos, and I'm so sorry I don't have any, but like I said, I will have them after Halloween. We love watching the little kids. Now the dog, Chester, he is afraid of them, but it's always fun to do this. Now I'm going to show you something with these white photo mats too. So know that there was a method to my madness. I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of these. So if you end up doing something like this, you might want to make your photo 3.5 by 5 or 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, whatever you choose. And go ahead and put that on the edges of every piece. I taught inking the edges at my Croptoberfest last weekend, and many people left saying they have to ink all their edges from now on. And I think that's how it gets, is once you start doing it, you really want to do it all the time. You want to give that little lift to your layouts. Now, before I put them down, I'm going to grab a journaling pen. And I am going to, I need my black one. And I'm going to start with a dot in the corner and just bring this all the way across. So this is where you might reconsider your photo sizes and bring it to each corner and add a dot at that corner. It just is a nice little interesting look and another way to add ink. There we go. And I'll speed up a little bit while I do these last 3 so that you don't have to sit and watch, or maybe you're following along and doing this with me. I hope that you are. I hope that you've watched it once and then you decide, I really like that, I'm going to do that. If you are, just go to the virtual crop group, and if you don't belong, request to join. There's so much inspiration in there. And find the sketches for September. And that's what I am using. I am using the sketch number 4 for September. Look at how these really add so much to that already inked edge. And they're going to frame my Halloween photos beautifully. And one more. Three and a half by 5.5 photos are a very nice size when you've got so many next to each other. It allows them to be seen. Now look at this. Look at what a difference it makes just to add that little extra zippity doodah to your photo mat. It's a nice look. All right, 2 more to get on there. And then we're gonna take a look at that sketch again and see what else we can do. We might end up seeing there's a lot of paper left over, enough to make another layout. And that's exactly what I will probably do with it. Okay, look at that. Isn't that fun? So now we've got all of that on there. There is another thing I want to do. I want to pull out a stencil. We don't carry it, but it is a dot stencil. And maybe someday we'll carry one because we're really introducing a lot of stencils. But what I like to do is just add, in fact, I'm going to take my splatter stencil, and I can't even tell you where I get these. I just see stencils online and I buy them. I'm gonna put some tape right on the edge of the paper. Make sure you test your tape so that it doesn't pull off the print of the paper. I've tested this tape and we're good to go. All right, and I'm just gonna take this stencil and put some, I think I want black. So I need a different brush because I didn't take out a brush for black. Let's see, purple, black, black. Black would be the way to go. Okay, let me see if I can find a brush handy. And I have some brown on this brush, so I'm just gonna wipe it off on the back of something to make sure that all that brown is out of there. You can also take a wet wipe and wipe it off of there and then dry it with a paper towel. I'm pretty confident enough of the brown is off. And I'm going to ink up my brush with black ink, pounce it off so that I get that nice hard point. Start twirling in the air. And I've got some fun black splatters in that corner that match my other pieces. Stencil tape is super important. You'll want to be able to tape things off. Again, tap it off so that you get that firm amount of ink off, and then swirl in the air before you set down and lightly use it. Always hold your brush at the neckline with your finger on this so that you have good control over where your brush is going. And look at that. I might put some more of that on there. So I'm going to leave this brush handy. Okay, so you always want to have a piece of scrap paper by you so that you can pounce that off. And if you don't do it, you'll notice right away and you'll think, oh, that's why Brenda told me to pounce it off. Okay, look at that in the corners. Is that ever fun? It looks so fun, in fact, that I need to go up here and do it around these other splatters. Just right in the corner. Ooh, stencils are a good thing to have. I hope that you're grabbing any of the stencils that we come out with. We've had the fall one now. I'm sure we'll have many more. We love ink and stencils on our pages. At least I do. And it's really relatively clean to do. People worry a lot and think they're going to have ink all over their hands and all over their pages. It's just not the case. It's not the case at all. You have a lot of control when you do things the right way. Look at this stencil. And I'm going to put that right up in the corner over here, pounce it off, and then start up in the air and hold the top of the head of my brush so that I have full control. And lift that up and look at that. There we go. Another added element to a Halloween page. Now I'll be able to just use a wet wipe and wipe that off and then sponge it with a paper towel to dry it, and all will be good to go. Here we go. So now let's look at this sketch again, if I can find it. Oh, by the way, when you go to clean this, all you need is a spritz of water and dry paper towel. That's all you need. It'll take it right off. So we've got some elements right down around here, up in the corner, and up here, because we're making a visual triangle. Kimberly did such a good job of building this sketch because you've got this nice visual triangle to lead your eyes across all these photos and then come down to the last one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make that visual triangle. The paper that I have left, unbelievable when you reimagine like this. Let me show you the paper that I'm probably not going to be using today, but I've got it in my stash now for another page. I'm not going to use these circles most likely. I'm not going to use these 2 extra pieces. I could very well use some of them. I saw a spot where I'd like to use them. But how fun is that to get extra paper? If you're looking for more out of a simple page kit, this is the way to get it. I want to take another piece of this, a 1/2-inch piece, and I'll show you what I'm looking for when I cut this. Right up at the top of the sketch, there is a little strip that makes a cluster of these embellishments. So I can use this, I can cut this off and use this as that little strip. We'll set that aside for now, but I have it. You also see this oval down here and this larger flower here. What I could do, and I'm going to see what I think of it, is to cut out some of these circles and use those on the page. Just fussy cut. I'm not even being careful because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with them. Let's just have these two really rough circles, rough edges, okay, and rough edges over here. And I'm going to use my fingernails and rough up that edge some more. That's all it takes is your fingernails. And you just rough up the edge of that paper. Another thing that you can do is use the outside of your scissors and just bring your scissors around and rough that up a little bit. Just go in short little strokes back and forth, back and forth. These aren't meant to be perfect circles, and that's why that oval made me think of these. And we have all that paper left over. Okay. And keep going and going. And right around that whole edge, that kind of brings out the little bit of white core in this paper. But we're going to ink that edge anyway. We're going to make it black. Normally, I always use my fingernails, but it's a slower process, so speeding it up for you, I'm going to use the outside of the scissors to give it the same look. I love how these circles are odd shaped and kind of angled and kind of oval, but not, and they're really a fun hand-drawn circle on the paper. Okay, so I've got these two circles done, and I'm going to grab my black ink again. Anyone that inks probably has some black ink in your stash, right? So I didn't feel bad about using this. I love these little Memento pads because I can hold them so close. I'm wondering if there's a small circle that I can put up in that corner. Just kind of shopping whatever I have to make this work. There is a small circle next to here, and I can cut it down just a little bit. Paper that provides some of our best embellishments, really. When you want something that matches perfectly to what you're doing. And I'll go ahead and do the edges. Thanks for hanging in there. I really appreciate that you come to my YouTube channel and that you watch these videos and learn and grow along with it. Because you might see some little things that I do that you've never seen before. And it's awfully fun to do those little things. I love adding things that I've never done before on my pages. So we're going to ink that up as well. And use that up in that top corner. Oh, that's fun. That's going to be very fun. Now I've got the stickers. So I've got some big pumpkins. I've got a big ghost. I've got bats and a moon. I've got this little Halloween exclusive that I might want to use. I have these lights that we need to put on the layout. So I think I'll go ahead and start with those lights. And then everything else can work around there. I don't have to use the lights, but I really like these lights. And so I'm gonna move the layouts together so I start them in about the same place. We're gonna go right at that, over that stencil piece. And that is about 1/2 inch from the top. Let's see, my paper's not on the right mark. It's about 1/4 inch from the top where it starts. So we're gonna end this at about 1/4 inch. Okay, and get those little lights up there. They're cute as can be, aren't they? And now I'll make sure that this one is lined up on my mat, and we'll do 1/4 inch there as well. 1/4 inch and end at 1/4 inch. Isn't that adorable to add that little pop of color up at the top? I really love it. So now when I add this embellishment, I don't have to worry that it's going to interfere with me putting something down because I've got it down there. Now let's think about this for a minute, because I want to be able to add, I don't want to cover up that stenciling too much. And I want to be able to add some flowers and some of the larger sticker embellishments. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to see if the purple works better or if the orange works better. I like that purple on there. What do you think? And the orange, I think unless I use these small ones, it's just not orange enough. But those are really cute. So the purple with the orange might be just the ticket. And then we'll use one small orange up here. How fun is it to have these in the sort and stash and to just be able to pull? And I'm going to grab a couple of these leaves out because we're going to use a couple of these. I think I want the darker ones. A couple of those. Okay, we'll set that aside. And then we're going to take a look at these embellishments, because our title goes down here. Do you see? And then our journaling is going to go up there. So let's think about what we want to use for a title from this. We have Trick or Treat, Boo, and Halloween. I really like this Boo. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to tuck that a little bit under there and bring that in. And then put Boo across the bottom. And I'm going to use some 3D foam tape to do that. And I want to grab my anti-stick tool. I hope you all have one of these. These are the handiest things. It's powder. And you just don't take the backing off and just rub it around the sticker then. And what this does is take off all the sticky, but you've left that backing on there so you don't have to worry about getting powder on that piece. So I'm gonna put that right there like that. And so far, I'm really liking that. And let's go ahead and tuck this under here. Fun Halloween layout, really fun. Now, we cut that other piece, that 1/2 inch piece, and I don't think we need that because I'm going to put the flower right up in here. And I'm actually only going to put adhesive on these 3 petals. And again, I'll use foam tape. And then the photo, you will be able to pick this up and put the photo under it. You'll just be able to slide it if it goes over the photo. But remember, if you're using a 3.5 by 5, it's going to be a little smaller anyway. A 3.5 by 5.5. I'm losing my voice, you guys. Gotta drink some water. When I'm busy talking and teaching and all of you these things. So I love that. On the sketch, we have this oval up, and I'm gonna tuck this just a little bit and then put my orange flower down there. Okay, let's tape that down. That's when we're making a commitment, right? We make a commitment when we're putting those things down with tape. A lot of times I end up putting things down and then pulling it up, and it's just a disaster. So I'm really trying to learn, even in my old scrapbooking age. It's been 36 years now. I'm trying to learn to lay things out and be patient. Make sure it's where I want the things. But I'm still not adverse to picking things up. Because in the end, when you make a scrapbook layout, you want it to be what you want it to be. And I think that that's important, that you're not afraid to rip things up or change a paper or do any of that. Now, I was lucky I didn't have to change any of this paper. This simple page kit was perfect. It was perfect with cardstock. This sheet right here and this one down here. The stencil we used was perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and tape over here. I hope you're having fun, and I hope that this makes you want to go and create and take the time for yourself, because it's really important. If you're a creative person, you need to make time for you, no matter what that is. If you take a class, please be sure to do the class, because why would you take it if you aren't going to do it? I think it's really important that you take a class and learn the techniques, watch YouTube videos, do all of those things, gather your knowledge from all kinds of sources, and then decide what you love. That's what's important. We're going to use more of these yet. We're not done. Not nearly. We're going to put this boo down now, right here, where our title is supposed to be. Okay, now I've got these leaves. I want to tuck these leaves right under. I'm just going to put one little strip of tape. Kind of right in the middle of both of them. And I've got a little tape showing. Should have used my repositionable or some liquid adhesive. I'm going to grab my repositionable for this so that doesn't happen again. And we'll put that one over there. Now we have some super cute stickers. And I love these balloons. Just love them. So we're going to tuck these balloons right up in here. I love the moon. We're going to journal over on this side in order to bring that visual triangle over. So I'm going to put my moon and my stars. Let's see. I'm going to put it right here. I like it right here. And we've got a small bat that's going to go over the moon. And then, oh my gosh, look at all of these. We've got the ghost. We really don't need that on this page. We've got the pumpkins, which are very fun to add in and to tuck. We're going to tuck them under this orange leaf. Do yourself a favor and buy all those flowers in all the colors. You want them and you need them more than you know. They are really a really nice addition to your pages. And I'm going to alter this leaf just a little bit so that my berries stick out. Okay, and we've got those pumpkins down there. I want to use Trick or Treat on this page. And I'm not sure if I want to use it right there because I like the visual it adds, or if I want to stick it right here. I think I want to stick it right here. We're going to bring it. Might have to move that moon a little bit. To put that moon over. I want to get this up. There's 3D foam there, and I want this to tuck under that leaf a little more. And there we go. All right. What you have left, I have done this virtual crop sketch. So I'm going to go to the virtual crop group. I'm going to take a photo of this and go to the virtual crop group, and I'm going to hashtag it with that so that people can see a little bit different something to do with a simple page kit. And I'll add some dots, some orange and some purple. And if we've got purple paper, I'm going to need an orange down here. And then we'll do that on this side as well. But I'm going to go and do that. So you'll find this page as well on the Creative Memories virtual crop group. And I really suggest you join that group because every month you get 4 sketches and inspiration on how to use your supplies, right? So you want to be a part of that group and you want to have that extra inspiration. And while you're at it, check out my website because right now, when you purchase $120 in product, you are going to get the Challenge Accepted Birthday Challenge with all the different cards, 52 cards of inspiration that you click on a QR code and it takes you to the project, the supply list, and the instructions. You're also going to get sleeves to put them in your motivation binder, and you're going to get all the project recipes and the virtual crop sketches from January to August of 2025. Oh, it's just such an amazing thing. I love this layout, you guys. Okay, so this is what we started with. This is what we ended with. And this is what I have left to use on another page along with cardstock. And this is going to be another nice set of pages because I've got all of this fun to go on something else. All right, you guys, I hope you had fun. Oh my goodness, if you have any questions, please comment, and as soon as I see them, I will get back to you. You have a great day and go do something creative because it's really, really good for your soul. Talk to you soon.